Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on DisneyPlus.com. It's time for the weekly live Q&A. But before we go into anything else, and I do realize I am really grainy, so I just want to put this out there right now that there is maybe going to be some problems today. My home internet has completely died, and so I'm trying to do this using 4G on the internet through my phone. The phone is right here next to me. Let me know in the comments if it looks okay. Is it juttering? Is it not? Because if not, I'll just have to put it back for another day. I thought, well, I'm going to at least try and do this, see if it works or not. So yeah, just let me know in the comments if it's working. If it's not, yeah, I'm going to try it. If not, like I said, I'll redo it. I'll do it in the week if it's not working. But usually, this is the first time it's ever happened. Yeah, there's just like literally like no internet on my fiber. It's just like completely dead. Looks fine, and you can hear me. Okay, if I drop out, let me know. If I completely drop out, that might be a problem. So I'm going to try and answer your questions. This one's probably going to have to be a much shorter Q&A than normal because, as I said, I'm running on 4G. It says it looks fine. I've slightly lowered the tech specs, so it's a little bit lower, a little bit grainier, but it's working. That's a good thing. So you can see we've got Jonathan, Matt, Bubba Trolling, so Sooner, Knoxwave. So a big hello and welcome to all of you. So as I said, each and every week I answer questions from you guys, and so that's always a great thing. We've got lots of them that have been put in advance. I will be honest, if you've put any questions in the last like 12 hours, I've not been able to add them to the platform because, as I said, my internet's been out and I've just been trying to get in, and it looked like it's working. So we'll just have to make do. If I miss your question, I do apologize. It's a little bit, yeah, this is the first time this has happened. This is about the first time in probably about 5 years I've not had the internet for more than like 20 minutes or so. Right, so this question coming from Babak, who says, could Hulu Live eventually come to Disney Plus, or do you think they'll always stay separate? I think this one's a little bit tricky. I think Hulu Live is a very tricky situation because in some ways it's a service that's running. I mean, it has just over, I think, 3-4 million subscribers. So it has some. It doesn't sound a lot of subscribers in all honesty, but they're paying probably about $100+ bucks. It's bringing some money in. I think with that live service, there's going to get to a point of how many subscribers it can have before it's either not making money or not making enough money. So I do wonder if I personally wonder if the launch of Fubo TV might have been a problem for this, and that might have been something that they might have had an issue with. But who knows what they're going to do with that one. They might be waiting to see what happens with Fubo before they maybe do something with Hulu Live. But I do think Hulu Live will... I don't think it will come to Disney Plus because I think this feels like a product which isn't really the product that they want to sell. It feels like a legacy product. There's not enough people signing up for it. It's a dying product. It's something that's just getting smaller and smaller each and every week. Moving on from there, Miles says, could Disney Animation or Pixar enter into a production partnership with Steven Spielberg's production company Album to expand the storytelling opportunities for the medium? And I think he's just talking here about animation. I don't think so. I don't think Disney or Pixar need Steven Spielberg, and I don't think Steven Spielberg has been on the same level that he's been at for the last few years. So I don't think they need him. I mean, they could partner with him, but he's much more likely maybe to go with DreamWorks. But yeah, I just don't think Disney or Pixar need Steven Spielberg, and I don't think he's in the same level that he used to be at. Maman says, do you have a subscription to ESPN Plus? And if no, will you review ESPN Hub on Disney Plus next week? So I do have the ESPN ad bundle. So I can watch the ESPN stuff. So I will be looking at it. Whether or not I'm not sure if I will be doing a review of it. I'm going to have a look at it and see what it looks like and see how it works and stuff. And I'll do a video on that on Wednesday when it launches and see what it looks like and do bits and pieces like I did with the Hulu on Disney Plus launch. As regards to reviews, I'm not really going to plan on reviewing any of the live sports, definitely not. In terms of documentaries, I don't think so. I am doing some articles on ESPN and stuff like that, but generally, I'm not too sure on how the ESPN content's going to kind of go down with people. So I'm a little bit just like testing the waters on the ESPN stuff. Miles says, could Andrew Swanton's upcoming science fiction drama In the Blink of an Eye have its world premiere at either the Sundance Film Festival or Dublin Film Festival? I mean, if it's coming out around that time, maybe a month or two before it, they could do. I mean, I think this one here was one of the, it should be a fun movie from 20th century, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think it really makes a lot of issues. If they can try and get a little bit of award ceremony buzz, they might want to put it there, but not sure. Babak says it was announced that the US Department of Justice supports Fubo's lawsuit against Venu Sports. Do you think that Venu is done? I think Venu is toast. I think it's 100% toast. Whether or not I had a better chance now with a different administration, it might do. Disney might continue on with this idea of just stretching it out, but with Warner Brothers losing access to sports, and if they think they're going to lose it, and maybe the Discovery and stuff like that, I don't know. They might just feel like this is just not worth the effort. They've been, I mean, they could do. They keep fighting on, but I don't think Fubo TV is actually going to launch myself. But let me know what you think. Do you think it's not or not? Let me know in the comments below. Babak says Hulu has some other ads, such as add-ons like Max or Starz. If Hulu is closed down, what would happen to those add-ons? Now, the question is, could they add like Max or Starz onto Disney Plus as an add-on? I think it's something that they could do, and I think they could definitely go into that there. I think now that they've kind of got the Hulu ads and all that bits and pieces, they could do it if they want. It depends really on how much money there is to be made from these add-ons. I think Starz is much more likely going to end up either closing or getting swallowed up by another platform anyway, so I don't think that one's going to be around for much longer. Are they going to do all of that technical stuff just for Max? Who knows? Again, if Fubo Sports doesn't work, they might not even bother with it and might not really kind of click in with that one. So it's very, very difficult for kicking in on that one. Let's do some live ones. Again, let me know if there's any technical issues or anything like that. Or if I suddenly go blank, you know why? Because I have having some internet issues right now. We're currently running on my 4G, which seems to be running, which is good. I thought we were going to have to cancel it and more postpone it, but we're doing all right. Babak says, do you think the ESPN flagship will run into issues? I think there was bound to be some teething problems. There's bound to be some issues. Any major launch, I mean, they're going to try and probably get rid of as many as they can and soft launch it and, you know, test it out properly and all the rest of it. The fact that ESPN Plus has been running for a number of years will probably give them a much better scope of like playing how it works and stuff. But there's bound to be some issues and stuff, no doubt. Noxwave says, are you planning on getting the steelbooks of Mando Season 3, Ahsoka Season 1, Loki Season 2, or Hawkeye? No, not going to lie. I haven't brought a disc since Rise of Skywalker 5 years ago. I've got no desire to pick these up. I can watch them on Disney Plus if I want to watch them again. I just don't buy physical media anymore. I just don't. I've sold, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 Blu-rays and DVDs in the last 5 years and cleared out my collection a lot. Yeah, I think I just don't see the need to have it anymore for me personally. No worries, Ryan. Have a good one. Bubba Trolling says, I think Disney will close down Hulu in 2027. I'm not convinced it's going to happen in 2025, but I think it could happen in 2026, maybe. I mean, they could be completely wrong and they could just speed the whole process up, but I don't really have a feeling that they're going to rush it right now. Matt says, I think Hulu will be fully merged into Disney Plus because they don't want to have run two services and only people who subscribe to so many. I 100% agree. I think we're very much in the case of there's people are only going to subscribe to so many platforms and there's so many benefits for them to merge them, saving money on marketing, staffing costs, server costs, administration costs, promotional costs. There's just so much benefits they can have for merging those ones in together. Miles says, since Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema decided to offload the North American distribution rights for the Sony Pictures Animation upcoming fixed film, could 20th Century Studios partner with Sony? Possibly. I mean, I think everything, if there's a little bit of money to be made, they will jump in and do that. Definitely, without a doubt, they will do that, which is good. But yeah, so I definitely think that's likely to happen. Keenan says, do you think the American Idol could simulcast live on Disney Plus and ABC since the ABC app has closed down? I mean, I think it would be nice if they do, but I think ultimately there's going to be issues here with the renewal of the deal that they've got in place of whether or not they want it on Disney Plus. Maybe if they were going for a renewal now with the company that makes it, Fremantle, I think it is, they might push for something like that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we start seeing a lot more of these kind of things happening. But right now, no, I don't think so. Basil says, do you think Disney could or should not have done a better job of handling controversial situations? For example, recently we had the wrongful death suite and the whole Snow White, Rachel Ziegler situation. There is no doubt about the fact that Disney has, they were, and I use the phrase of what we saw with the Sideshow Bob meme of him just stepping on like rake forks. And there was a period where Disney was just stepping in them and just dropping these problems of hitting controversial points consistently. That I do feel they have been pulling back from them. They've been changing things, but there's still some stuff that's coming out that is still a little bit bumpy, that is still hitting essentially hitting the fan and not in the good way. And I think Snow White is that one of those projects that I think is just a walking, yeah, this is just, I think Snow White on a whole, I think this whole project is just, it's hit so many bumps on the way through. I think it is damaged goods in the fact that I don't think no matter how good this film is going to be able to sort of shake off the controversies. I think they are. I wouldn't be surprised if once Snow White comes out, if it doesn't, especially if it doesn't do very well, Disney will probably just not hire Rachel Ziegler, because she seems to be just like doing stuff on social media and stuff, and some some of the videos and stuff, it just seems that it's what she's doing is just not clicking with audiences. She's not listening, and in some ways this is a way of why with some big stars and stuff, maybe not having an online presence is the best way and makes the most sense. We are going into a different era, and you have to look at it of the fact of Disney and other companies are now going to be looking much more to be sitting in the middle and trying to not piss anybody off, because there's no point pissing off half your audience. That's not good for business. And as the recent election has shown, there is half the audience is in one camp, half the audience is in another, and they want to make sure they sit in the middle, and they want to try and avoid these situations. I think they are going to avoid little ones here. There's always going to be some problems. Anytime you've got a company of that size, there are going to be some issues and some things people are going to pick up on. There's also definitely a zone of certain people picking out on every single thing that Disney does, as good or bad, and that's not necessarily something that's going to be disappearing anytime soon. But I think we are going to have some differences in the future. Unfortunately, like Snow White, I think is just going to be one of those last big hurdles. I think the whole thing with the lawsuit, that feels very much along the lines of lawyers maybe that not even have got caught up in one thing, and that entire thing blew up, and they quickly kind of tried fuzzing over it, but you can't help but wonder if the people at the people at Disney Plus probably went through the roof, and the lawyers and stuff on that side, because they probably were completely unaware of what what they were doing over in the Orlando court for trying to deal with a situation. That's the way I look at it. There's probably along the lines of the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing. There are always going to be some problems, and they could definitely handle them better. I do feel Iger seems to be better at dealing with these situations, and a lot of the time it's just the fact that Disney's just gonna pay outright and kind of close these issues off a little bit. So there. Let's just have a look at some live questions. So Suna says, when do you think Disney Plus and Hulu will fully merge? I think 2026. I think we're gonna a whole year of them running them together, a whole year of them pushing the two together more and more and more. I think we haven't really even started on the advertising side of things yet. And yeah, I think it will probably. I think it's still another year away yet. Knoxway says, I feel like the opinion on both Snow White and Captain America 4 having so many reshoots, and I don't think it will be good. So I will say this thing with Captain America 4. There seems to be this whole thing of there's a lot of rumors floating around on the internet of how bad this film is and all the reshoots and all the rest of it. And a lot of this stuff is coming from random accounts on like Twitter and stuff that's then getting spread and spread and spread and spread and spread and spread. And it's like, where's all this coming from? Why is this film getting so many like testers and feeders that we never hear about with any other Marvel one? There is a problem with Captain America Brave New World, where there is a specific audience that is like anti it because it's not Steve Rogers and they hate what this film is about and are actively kind of feeding the hate. So I don't know. The thing is with this Captain America stuff is, at the end of the day, Marvel, I cannot think that this film is going to be, if it's really bad, they won't want to. They've already delayed it. They've made changes and stuff. I think there's a lot of rumor and speculation for clickbait and click rage for that with them. They're going to put that over here for that one. And then Snow White, again, I think there's a thing that there's mixed. There's got so many different levels. You've got the fact that people don't want a Snow White reboot. They don't, and also the issues with Rachel Zegler. She just keeps putting her foot so far in her mouth that she keeps writing these things for them instead of, she just does not seem to have learned that just basically don't say anything, stop creating all these problems and stuff. Yeah, and I just feel like Disney is probably just gonna, it's like whatever they're doing with Snow White. The fact that whole like last weekend where they didn't even release the trailer did seem very, 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 very weird. Barbatronic says, do you think that the streaming service will only have ad-supported ads? I think we're gonna forever have both, but I do think we're gonna start seeing the ad-supported tier is gonna be getting more and more affordable, while the ad-free tier is going to get more and more and more expensive. I wouldn't be at all surprised if these ad-supported tiers hit $30-$40 if you really want it. They're going to offer it, but they're going to really penalize you if you don't want to watch ads. Barbatronic says, what are your thoughts on Hulu Plus Black Friday deal? I didn't get it because I already have Hulu Live. I mean, I thought, 99 cents a month for Hulu for a year, or 99 cents a month a year. It's about, $12 for Hulu for a whole year. I mean, how can you not say that's a good deal? That is a really good deal. I think $2.99 a month for Disney Plus and Hulu with ads, a fantastic deal. If you were sitting on the fence, this is a great deal. It runs out tomorrow, so there's only one day left. If you are on a monthly plan and you're on the ad-supported tier, I mean, you could, in theory, I would imagine, maybe create a brand new account and brand new Disney ID, and maybe with a different email account, and set up that for the $2.99 one, and then close down your other one. That might be a way of getting around it. But I thought it was a really good deal. Babak says Disney paid $1 million for the streaming rights to Nutcrackers. Do you think that it was a good deal for Disney? I haven't watched the film yet. I'll be honest, I didn't watch it. I mean, it seems to be. I think that seems to be a good one. Knoxway says, I really hope Disney can release deleted scenes for Disney Plus Marvel shows like they did with Hawkeye and Miss Marvel. Hopefully they put it in there. Let's see if we've got any other questions. Okay, keep going on the pre-done ones. Basil says, if Hulu replaces the Star brand internationally, how much of the difference is going to be in regard to content? None. Literally, it is. If right now they could rebrand the Hulu hub here, the Star hub here in the UK to Hulu, and it literally is a change of the logo and a change of the that's literally all the difference that would be. There would be no difference really for any of the content. And another license issue, it literally would just be the logo would change. That's and the bumper at the beginning. That's all that would be there. Will there be some current content removed or added that we currently have? Again, it's literally, it wouldn't make any difference because, again, the stuff that they have in the US is licensed in the US. It just literally just would be a rebrand of that logo. That's all it would be. Keenan says, could there be a Moana 3 if Moana 2 is successful enough to have a live action remake coming soon? So I watched Moana 2 in the cinema the other day. There is a post-credit. They did the full Marvel thing where they teased Moana 3. Moana 3 is going to happen. And by the looks of it, I did get a press release regarding how well the movie's done. I think just shy of $400 million globally. This movie's already a hit. This movie is one of the biggest films already of the year, and it's only been out like 4 or 5 days. So yeah, I don't think it's a question of if there's going to be a Moana 4 or 3. There will be one. Mamo says, with the mid-credit scene teasing a continuation after Moana 2, do you think Disney will do a third movie? Yes. And if so, when do you think Disney will release it? 2028, 2029, maybe even, maybe 2029 or beyond. Because we've got Zootopia next year, Frozen the year after. I would imagine at least 3 to 4 years. Basil says, any thoughts on the Lilo and Stitch teaser? Personally, I really loved the marketing around it. It did a great job for this one. It looked okay. I mean, it definitely looks fun. Stitch looks great. I do like the look of him. I thought he looked really good in it. Teasing the fact of like with the posters and stuff of incorporating other films. It looks fun. And that's what they need to do. And I don't think like recreating what worked last time is a bad idea. Candace says, what is your favorite memories of the WWE Network? Was for the streaming service ahead of its time, where it paved the way for Disney Plus. I mean, I think for me, it was always just the fact of I could watch the pay-per-views for much less per month than paying it on pay-per-view. That was always the thing for me, especially when they started doing 2 PLEs a month. That was fantastic. So I think my favorite, it's not so much a favorite memory, it was just the fact of just being able to have access to those premium live events, and then also being able to really kind of get in on like on NXT and stuff. It was really good. Keenan says, what is the difference between the D23 Expo and Destination D23? So first off, D23 Expo was this year. It was D23 Ultimate Fan Event. It's held in Anaheim in Los Angeles, and Destination D23 is held usually at the Colorado. It's at one of the big hotels in Walt Disney World, Florida. So obviously you got one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. So they usually alternate years. The one in Florida, the Destination D23, is generally a much smaller convention, a few thousand people. Can't have near as many people. It's much more focused on Disney history, Disney World, bit of Disney Cruise Line. There's not as much merchandise. There's not all the stands, because at D23 they have like 100,000+ go through there. Which maybe like I think 3,000-4,000 for Destination. So it's a lot smaller. It's a little bit more fanny in terms of Destination D23. D23 Expo is huge. The presentation, there's more people sat in the presentation in the Anaheim Convention Center than in Destination D23. And on this year, when they were doing that 12,000-15,000 people at the Honda Center, that was probably 3 or 4 times the amount of people that went to Destination D23 last time. So the numbers are just massively different. So while it is a D23 event, D23 also holds lots of events nearly every month. But yeah, it's just unfortunately people kind of they mixing up what they kind of are. Miles said, since Legendary Entertainment recently ended its distribution agreement with Sony Pictures, could Disney, Amazon, Paramount be in the running to become a partner? I wouldn't say I don't think Paramount's in a position where it could do anything. Amazon maybe, but they're there's a problem there with them doing stuff for theatrical. 20th Century could do it, but I don't think they're in the mood, for doing anything like that right now. I'm not sure if that would happen. Mamo says, how will you think Disney will advertise ESPN on Disney Plus after it launches on December the 4th? Probably start running ads on ESPN, telling people that they can do this. That's the key thing. A lot of what I would call free advertising, of just using it in PRs, bumpers, on ESPN, on ABC, maybe just using their ability to have free adverts and stuff. I don't think they're going to go out and put it on other networks. I think they'll just primarily just focus on just telling the people that have already got ESPN that you can do it. Maybe a little bit more better than they did with Hulu. But again, it's just getting people used to the idea. For them, when flagship launches next year, people are much more used to the concept of having ESPN available within Disney Plus. Leon says, now that Disney Plus has renewed the Doctor Who, will they consider renewing more seasons, including spin-offs? We know they're going to have that one spin-off they've already agreed to. We're going to have to wait and see how Doctor Who Season 2 does to see if they've renewed it, because they have not renewed it for Season 3. They kind of pre-did a Season 2 already before they even aired it. And again, this is a show that's been around for 60 plus years. It's had 30 plus seasons over that's different, John. It isn't a more established, it's not like it was the first show where they had to wait and see. And the BBC, I think, if Disney doesn't renew it, the BBC will carry on anyway. But I think that we're just going to have to wait and see on that one. Miles says, do you think the dual release of How I Train Your Dragon and Elio on June the 13th of next year could spawn another cinematic showdown akin to last year's Barbenheimer? I mean, there seemed to be a little bit of a boost for Gladiator and Wicked last weekend. That seems to do very well. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be competition. They're both in that same genre. But also, the thing is with these movies is often it's not just a one weekend race. These movies are going to run for months over the summer, and they will just keep clawing in money. These movies have a much longer gain over time because of kids just going for month and month and month. But also internationally, these films will be pulling in money, because in the US, June is the summer holidays. We're here in the UK, the summer holidays don't start till July. So that by the time the movie then starts getting boosted up, by the time then when the kids are off for a few months or for a month or so, this is why Inside Out and stuff did so well, because it just kept rolling. And so both of these films, there is enough kids to watch all of this stuff. I don't think it's a great idea having them both out on the same day, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. But I don't think it's going to cause another Barbenheimer. But kids might do it. Kids might be interested in doing it. Kelly says, what were your favorite parade floats from the Thanksgiving parade? Apologies if it's a dumb question. This was a really slow week for news. So, yes, slow week for news is one thing. With Thanksgiving this week, we kind of hit a real thing of just everyone in the US just seemed to have obviously just closed down for Christmas or for Easter, or not for Easter, or for Christmas, for Thanksgiving. I'm not going to lie. I've had a few really, really light days. It's almost felt a little bit like a holiday. I've been out today. We've been out Christmas shopping. I've been to the cinema. I've been out with mates. We went to the big Warhammer event yesterday, because ultimately there was nothing really for me to write or do videos about. So it's been really slow. As far as the Thanksgiving parade, I'll be honest, the only one I did see was Spider-Man, because I obviously didn't watch it. Thanksgiving obviously is not a thing here in the UK. It was just a normal week. And the parade the only reason I saw it was a tweet from Marvel. That was it, really. So that was the pre-done questions. Let's see if we've got any more. If you've got any questions for the live stream, feel free to pop them in. Again, once I run out, I will this show I'm going to try and wrap up a little bit earlier, because if you're not aware and you've just jumped in, I'm running on my 4G internet at the minute through my mobile phone, because my home internet's not working. So obviously I'm chewing through my data. And it's stable. It's been up for half an hour, so that's good. But let's carry on. Let's do some more questions. Billy says, the fact that they haven't released a trailer seems that they don't have any faith in Snow White. They definitely hid it this weekend. They put it out in front of Wicked, and I think they put it out in front of Moana, and they have not put it out on the internet. I think they just did not want any negativity this weekend. It could drop tomorrow, and they could do it that way, or they might just not even bother. They might just hold off until nearer the time. Anytime they drop this trailer is going to cause a problem, but it does seem very noticeable that they did what they did. It does seem very, very weird. Noxwave said, I've heard some mixed reviews of Moana. I haven't seen it yet. Did you go to see it? It was originally supposed to be a Disney Plus series. Yes, so I went on Friday here in the UK. If you went to the Odeon, you were able to get a Moana special promo card for Lorcana, and I do collect Lorcana cards, so it was like, well, I want to go to the cinema and I do want to watch it. Whether or not it was worth me driving 10 miles to the nearest city rather than my local, that isn't it was fun. As far as the movie goes, it's a fun movie. I think kids are going to love it. There was a lot of humor in it. I'm glad I've seen it. I did enjoy it. The music is not as good. I will put that out there. The idea that it was a Disney Plus series, I honestly really probably couldn't really tell that much. I don't think most people, if you didn't know, you probably wouldn't know. But you can definitely see that there's a kind of like, that was one story, that's another story, and that's another story. You know, they were a little bit tonally different, but I think it worked really good. It's not as good as the first film. There's no point in sugarcoating it. But I really liked it. I think kids are going to love it. There was lots of great action in there. There was lots of great comedy. I thought it was good. And I think there's that kind of thing as well. I think for a family film, this is exactly what people want. Yeah, it could be better. I think obviously if they'd known what they were planning, it would have been a little bit differently. But yeah, I thought Moana 2 was a fun, good movie. Let's move on here. Let's see what else we've got here in terms of questions. Matt says, why are not all collections not always complete? Again, some of this comes down to licensing. Some of them times just glitches and stuff that they do. But a lot of the time, I think it's generally that they haven't got the license for those films. What other jobs do you think Disney will add after ESPN? Hubs, I'm guessing. Is that what you mean, Matt? I don't think we're going to see much for a while. I think once we get this ESPN hub launched and whatever they're doing with Hulu, I think they've got to roll out all of this properly yet. They still haven't done, they still got to merge in the Hulu side of things. They've got to launch Flagship. They've got to launch Hulu and ESPN on Disney Plus. This is going to take a few years, and I think that's the priority now. Just get this stuff, get this sorted. And the question is, do we need more hubs? I mean, they do seem to be testing it, moving it down a little bit and moving it around. The hubs maybe don't mean as much as they used to. You don't need a hub for Netflix or anything like that. But I do think ESPN and Hulu are the next big thing. Barbatron says, how do you think pay-per-views will work on Disney Plus? Yeah, I did wonder this with whether or not you can buy like a UFC pay-per-view through ESPN, whether or not that will work. I don't know. I would assume it will do. I mean, that's about the only one they do really for a pay-per-view really at the minute. So I don't know. It'd seem a bit odd. Matt says, now that ESPN will be added to Disney Plus, will you be doing what's coming soon to ESPN? So for the last couple of months, actually ever since it got really announced, I have been covering a little bit of ESPN news on what's on Disney Plus website. I've been covering like the 30 for 30 documentaries for a few years, actually, whenever they would get announced or get trailer, because we were getting them internationally. So I have been putting up some sports stuff. When the new list did drop, I did do an article. I'm still trying to work out what everyone likes with ESPN. It's a very tricky situation because it is part of Disney Plus. So I will be covering it on the website, going through it all. If it's part of Disney Plus, I will obviously mention it if it's free on there. And I will cover how much coverage of ESPN is going to be very much dependent on what the audience reacts to it. It is very tricky as well as like working out. So there will be some coverage. I'm probably not, I don't think I'll be doing videos and stuff on it. I'm not too sure quite what I'm going to be doing with the videos and stuff. I've been trying stuff out and I'm just moving some things around. But generally, I don't think I'll be doing like an ESPN, if there's any ESPN news or anything like that. I don't think I'll really be going too much into that because I just don't know if the audience is really there for that. Knoxwell says, do you think Netflix will have an improved live stream with WWE coming next month after the Paul Tyson live stream got lagging? Well, I think the key thing as well is the WWE is not going to have 60 million people watching it live. I think Triple H very much said along the lines of if they had that viewing numbers for WWE, they wouldn't be caring about the lagging, because that is a huge number for them. You got to think of like what Raw normally gets. I mean, globally, it might get things, but obviously, for me personally, I don't really tend to watch the WWE live anyway, because it's usually like 2, 3, or 4 o'clock in the morning. The only times I tend to watch it live are when they do the premium live events from like Saudi Arabia, because those are usually on at like a decent time for me. So that's the thing. But they are not going to have the sheer number of people, and I think that was the big thing with that boxing fight, was they weren't really ready for that amount of viewers. I don't think they really knew how many were going to watch it, because that lagging problem was also only in certain areas. I think they'll have learned a lot about that situation and started making improvements to fix it. So I'm just going to see if there's any questions here that I missed. Jonathan says, will Bluey be on Disney Plus? Well, Bluey's already on Disney Plus, except for if you're in Australia. If you're in Australia, it will not be on there. Let's see what else we've got here. That's been done. That's questions. Okay, we've done that one there. Okay, I think we're at the end. So this is the last call for any last minute questions. As I said, I have been slightly trying to rush through a little bit, but if you've got any live questions, feel free to send them in before I head off. This has been a little bit more successful than I literally at 2 minutes to 7, I was like, this is just not working. I was like, I couldn't even get on my computer. Couldn't get on the internet to do anything. I was like, it's like I need to just even put a message on to say that it's postponed. And managed to get in, and I thought, well, I'll try it. If it fails miserably, then it fails. But it seems to have worked. So again, a big thank you to everyone. Did you know that the price got increased? Right. It's one of those weird things with Disney Plus with the price rises. Thank you, Derek, for your super chat as well. I'll get onto that one in a second. So Disney Plus has a tendency, and I do think they need to actually maybe steal Netflix's idea for this. They will tend to say, we are going to be putting up the price of our services. We're going to put them up on, say, like it's going up on the 1st of October. They'll announce it in June. And so what will happen is they'll get a full PR sweep in June saying that the price is going up. Then in September, there'll be another sweep of people coming through going, oh, the prices have gone, prices are going up. And then we'll get a second one. And people think, oh, they're putting it up again. We've just heard about they're putting the price up. Now they're doing it again. And then in October, when it happens, there's another PR spin of this price rises come in. And people think it's gone up again. So they think it's gone up 3-4 times. Then the people that are renewing in March and February then realize, now the price has gone up. And then it spins. So I think what they need to do is basically just we're putting the price up and it's going up tomorrow. I think they'd probably be better off just getting the price rise done, take the heat, and let the whole thing happen in one news cycle, so that it doesn't. We are going to have probably annual price rises. If you look at anything now, the prices of everything has gone up. No matter what you look at, anything you look at to buy has gone up in price in the last few years. An annual subscription has been going up. And I do think Disney probably is at a point where I don't think it would hurt them just to be a bit like, look, we're not going to do any more price rises. Let's do this thing when we merge with Hulu and do one final reorganization. I do think there's only so much they're going to be able to keep pushing those prices up. I think an annual increase is normal, but I think their PR cycle is not helping them, because it makes it feel like, oh, I've only just had a price rise. It's like, yeah, it's an annual one that started in October. But then if you then don't renew, like for me, till March, in March, I'll get a renewal fee come through and it will go up again. But the price rise was from the big difference is when you are on the premium tier and it's gone up, and then it's gone up again, and it's gone up again. So it's like it is just this massive increase. I think I don't think this is a good idea in some ways, but I think they probably would be better off just kind of going, pull the band-aid off, do it, and all in one go, and just be like, look, the price is going up this week, and don't give notice. I know it'll get some pullback, but at the same time, they're going to have this problem anyway. So that's it. Knoxway says it's $15.99 now. The prices might depend on where you are, what tier you're on. Like here in the UK, we have 3 tiers for Disney Plus, $4.99 with ads. I think it's like $10.99 for standard, and I'd $13.99 or something like that for premium. So there are 3 different options, and the trouble is, I don't think the emails do very well with not explaining that you can downgrade as well. People are like, "Oh, it's gone up." And you're like, well, just look at the options and you can downgrade it. Derek, thank you so much for your super chat. Thank you so much for that. Derek says it'll be at least 10 years now until Warner Brothers can get an NBA contract. What will they need to do to reduce their debt until then? They're going to sell. They are totally going to sell what some of the stuff that they're doing. I'm not sure if Max will still be around in 10 years' time in the way that it is. I think they're going to consolidate with somebody else, be it Paramount or Comcast. I just feel like Warner Brothers is ready to sell, ready to merge. I think Zaslav, he is. If they're going to want to get it done in the next few years with a change in administration, I think that's what's going to happen. That's what I think is going to happen with them. But again, thank you so much for that super chat, Derek. That means a lot. Thank you. Matt says, "Do you think there will be a new Air Monday Night Football?" I think do you think there's a new Air Monday Night Football? Not entirely sure what you think for that one. I think it will continue. It's going to be carrying on. I think they've realized Monday Night Football is not just good for ABC, but it's also good for ESPN. So Suna says, when do you think Disney Plus will start notifying users when something is going to leave? This is a really bad problem. I don't think they're doing very well with. I think it is a disappointing thing that they do with this one. I think they do have to fix this. Yeah, I don't think it's a very good. So Ricardo, do you want to just put that question in again? I don't know. I haven't seen one from you. Just pop the question in. Sometimes if there's a certain word in there, it might like auto spam it. So just try it again. If you think there's like a rude word or something that could be a rude word, maybe that might be why it's not coming through. But I definitely agree. So Sooner, they definitely need to start notifying users of when stuff's going, especially I think with the addition of Hulu on Disney Plus, it should be vital. I think it actually should be something that they do anyway. Bobotronic says, do you think that Disney will use IP for more sportscasts? I think as long as people are watching them, they'll carry on doing it. If nobody's watching them, they'll stop doing it because it'll cost them too much. Matt says, if they change the name of Starz to Hulu, will they call it Japan since Japan has Hulu? Might be tricky. I mean, they have done a deal with Hulu in Japan because Hulu kind of got created into its own separate company. So very different in Japan. In fact, it's the only country with Hulu. They could just do what they've done in other countries and just keep the Star Hub. And in one country, they call it Other. They did that in Turkey because they couldn't call it Star. So they just called it Other. They could just do that in if they needed to. Any last questions? I'm just going to wait for Ricardo to pop his in, see if that comes through. Again, if you've asked it on like the normal community feed, unfortunately, I was having a lot of problems getting in there to get into it. So that was a bit of a problem. Here we go. All right. Ricardo says, any news about How to Get Away with Murder with Violet Davis to be released internationally on Disney Plus? It's only on Hulu. I think this might be a thing with it might be an issue with Netflix because I think that was one of the shows that went that Netflix had. They might be waiting for the contract to run out. I'm not going to log into Disney Plus because I don't think my internet is up and running, but How to Get Away with because that murder might have been why you couldn't post it. Yeah, because it's on Netflix here in the UK, so I think I think it's part of the maybe Disney didn't bother buying out the deal for it, but that's it then. So, but that did work, Ricardo. That I think that's what it was. Matt says, "Are we looking forward to Disney Plus in 2025?" Yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of great stuff. I mean, Wonder Man, Ironheart, Daredevil, Born Again, Andor season 2, Percy Jackson season 2. You got Pixar's Win or Lose. We're also going to have lots of great movies and stuff. It's obviously going to be lots of great stuff as well from like the Star side and Hulu. Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff to go through. I'm looking forward to kind of putting together a list of all the movies and shows and stuff coming. I've literally did start writing a list of like things to start putting together for like the Christmas holiday week. But yeah, lots of great stuff. Right. Okay. So on that note, thank you so much for everyone for joining me today. Big thank you to Matt, Ricardo, Bubble Trolling, So Sooner. Big thank you to Derek as well for your super chat. Noxwave, Billy, also Babak, Ryan, Noxwave, Jonathan. Thank you so much for your support. I'm really glad this seems to work. I will test the video actually tomorrow when I've hopefully got my internet back working. If not, it's going to be a phone call in the morning to try and sort this out. But yeah, so it did hold up, which I was not convinced it was going to do. But nevertheless, thank you so much. I'll speak to you again. And on that note, guys, thank you very much. See you guys soon. See you later.